Once again, the Clutch Talk 101. Gonna talk a little NASCAR today for you NASCAR fans out there. Uh, Great season so far. There's a total of 19 different winners. I believe it's the most parity we've seen in NASCAR ever, really. For the most part, NASCAR throughout the years I've been watching, there's usually a good 10 to 14, 15 drivers that will win, and then 10 that are true contenders. These past couple years, they've made quite a bit of competition in the league. There's some new teams like Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain's new team owned by Pitbull. There's also um, what's the other team? The new team. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but uh, lot of parity. RCR is kind of being relevant this year. You got Roush coming back up, obviously with Buscher's win at Bristol. Um, Stuart Haas took a notch down. Gibbs is right where they usually are. Hendrick is about where they usually are, and but like I said, a couple surprise teams this year, and it's been very fun to watch. Last week was Bristol, which was the cutoff race for the next round, and we've had three non-playoff drivers win the first three races of the playoffs. I've never seen that. It made for some good competition and a lot of unknowns going forward. The team I was thinking of was 2311, Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan's team. Obviously, Ty Gibbs coming up. Kurt Busch's in the 45 now. Bubba Wallace just won a race. Um, so they're a legitimate team too. And with Tyler Reddick going over there, they're going to be very, very competitive. But then you had Kyle Busch going back over to RCR, replacing Tyler Reddick's car. So I can see RCR still being competitive and winning races. Um, so these next couple years will be very interesting. I was kind of interested in seeing who would take over in Stewart Haas racing, being that Tony Stewart's my favorite driver of all time. Chase Briscoe is my current favorite driver, being that he's from same place as Tony. And growing up being a diehard fan, racing in sprint cars, and kind of taking the same path as Smoke did. And so Briscoe is my guy. And so seeing him win his first race this year was pretty interesting. I was pretty happy that he took a win at Phoenix this year, knowing that he's a dirt driver, and Phoenix is the last race of the year, and it's a very similar track to a dirt course where it's very slick and you got uh, not a lot of banking in the corners. This year, though, I think that you're gonna throughout the playoffs. I don't think we're gonna see any more non-playoff drivers win. I think it's maybe at Talladega, maybe at a race like that. But other than that, I see playoff drivers winning this thing, winning the rest of the 12 races that are or 12. No, what is it? 7 races. I apologize. And you know who's been real hot this year has been Chastain, who's kind of cooled off recently. You got Chastain, Denny Hamlin's won a few. Chase Elliott's been up there. Um, Kyle Larson's been up there. You got the same drivers pretty much dominating the races as with the wins. Um, so if when it comes down to the final four, I think that it's going to be uh I would say Chastain, Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Kevin Harvick. I think Kevin Harvick's going to go on a huge run this year, winning those 2 races right before the playoffs. He's He's the most clutch driver besides Tony Stewart that I've ever seen. You don't ever count him out. He usually starts in the 20s and slowly picks his way through the pack and is there at the end. And that's why he got the nickname the closer. But Tony Stewart in 2011 won 5 of the 10 races in the playoffs. And that was the best playoff run in NASCAR history. And being that he didn't win any races throughout that whole regular season, I could see Harvick going on a similar run. I could see him back up against the wall and uh, got me. I forgot Kevin Harvick was eliminated last race and Chase Briscoe ended up going through. So I take that back. I could have seen Harvick making a run, but I was wrong on that. I apologize. But man, I guess if not Harvick, I hope it's Briscoe, but it's most likely not gonna be. I could see either Kyle Larson or uh, maybe Kyle Busch making a push for that last playoff spot. I see Hamlin, I see Chastain, I see Chase Elliott, and it's like Kyle Larson. I guess those are the safe picks for that. Like I said, I hope Chase Briscoe kind of pulls through, but he's been kind of cold ever since he won that race at Phoenix. But what a great race out on Saturday. Bristol's always great. A lot of lead changes. I think Buescher kind of deserved that one. He's been fighting for a while, but Roush is kind of down, and I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take for Keselowski to be a team owner to make Roush Racing relevant again. Um, I'd put them in a little tier below RCR at this point because you got the top tier race teams. You got Joe Gibbs, Hendrick, and you could put 2311 or Pitbull's team up there right underneath that Gibbs Hendrick tier. And then right underneath them you got RCR, you got Stuart Haas. Roush isn't in that second tier anymore. They're in that third tier. They've been pretty irrelevant ever since Greg Biffle and Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth all left that team. They were the glue for Roush Racing, and ever since they've been gone, they have not been relevant. Buescher getting a win here and there, but last week, Buescher getting a win at a legit track in Bristol, and Keselowski joining the team and part owner. I think eventually, they have some hope in the future. Um, Another topic is Bubba Wallace. You know, he I liked him before anybody really knew who he was. I liked him when he was racing in the Truck Series. I saw him get a couple wins in there, and I I really liked his style of driving. I liked his attitude, and plus he's good friends with Ryan Blaney. I like Ryan Blaney, and they have the same taste in music as I like some heavy metal music, and they do too. So I kind of piqued my intrigue into them. So I kind of was a Bubba follower before he got that full time Cup ride and all the things and that happened at the racetrack or whatever. I don't I don't I don't get into that. I don't base things like that into whether I like a certain driver or not. Of course, you can have your own opinion on what happened and what he said and how he feels, but you know he was struggling for a while. He was in the 43 car, which is not a very good race team, but Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan gave him a chance, and last year and this year he was looking like he was going to get replaced pretty quick. And then it came time to it was a must win situation for him every race for the past, or for the last few races before the playoffs. And he was running in the top 10 every race. And he showed when his back's up against the wall and there's pressure. He's a competitor, and he didn't win at a super speedway. He didn't win at a short track or a road course, one of those anomaly tracks that it's kind of a wild card. He won at Kansas. Kansas is a true mile and a half. Usually at a track like that, you have the top dogs competing for it only. Any of the teams like RCR, or if you have a slow car at that race, you're usually just left in the dust. And for Bubba to get a win there, I think kind of legitimized his stay in Cup Series. A lot of people would disagree with me, but uh, that's my opinion on that. I think him and Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick, that would be a team in the future. That's going to be a championship competing team. So I was hoping Kyle Busch would go into the 10 car instead of the 8, but he went to the 8. Eric Almirola's thing, Mr. Consistency. I'm not a huge Almirola fan, but he gets the job done. He makes the playoffs most of the time based on points. He's always running up there. He doesn't make any reckless moves, and he's pretty consistent. Cole Custer, I was pretty big on him when he first came into the Cup Series, but he hasn't shown much. He got one win at a race due to like fuel mileage, but ever since then, I mean, it seems like he finishes in the teens or the 20s every race. Um, so hopefully he gets. Don't hope for any drivers to lose their job or anything, but if there's any position on that team to get replaced, it would be that one, because Chase Briscoe ain't going anywhere, and Harvick's going to be there till he says he's done. So I was kind of hoping for Kyle Busch to go there, but he went to the 8. It's kind of fitting. Kyle Busch is a very hated and loved driver. He has probably top 3 talent driving wise in the Cup Series, or that I've ever seen, to be honest. So, but he's been downhill the past couple years. He did have some. I think he had 2 kids now, or 1 or 2 kids, and he's really focused on the family life. So it seems like when NASCAR drivers start a family, their career kind of slowly goes on a decline, because it's a lot of time. It's 36 weeks a year, and they're traveling all over the country the whole year. So I understand why. But yeah, looking forward to this next round of the playoffs, and I'll have the predictions tomorrow.